Hello and welcome to Teletran Tapes, the show where we break down the latest issues of the Transformers Skybound comics and discuss other current events in the Energon universe. I'm Carl from Carl's Collection, and with me, as always, are my friends Swizz Prime, Moonbase 3, and Delta Trion. Now, gentlemen, just how the heck are we doing today?
New Transformers, always doing well.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
The most,
Yep.
which is the most
Pretty good.
regular. Yeah, no, we're doing good. Which is funny because I'm guessing we all really love this issue, but we're just like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
Holding the cards pretty close to the vest, I guess.
Yeah.
It's more along the lines of like, it's like, yeah, I just want to it's good to talk about it, but I just want to dive into the issue because that's what we're here to talk about it, and it's something that we all look forward to each month. So let's get to it. So the creative team for this issue 22, are the core four mainstays, or at least the current core four mainstays. Daniel Warren Johnson is the writer, art by Jorge Corona, Mike Spicer on colors, and letters by Rus Wooton. The official synopsis reads, "One will stand, one will rise. There's no going back as the Autobots and Decepticons prepare to make their last stand." Now, I just wanted to make a quick note before we dive into the story specifics. This is your official spoiler warning. If you haven't read issue 22 yet, yeah, you gotta go do that right now because we are about to spoil everything within this issue. Now, as we race towards issue 24, the climactic closeout to DWJ's 2-year stint on the book, things are cooking here in this issue. But before we get into those specifics, let's hear some broad thoughts and impressions on the issue as a whole. Delta, I'm gonna put you on the spot first.
Man, put me on blast.
Yeah, well,
I gotta say it. I think this is, generally speaking, this is just another banger of an issue. High regards. I'll say I'm very, very impressed and happy about how much ground is covered in terms of story in the amount of pages that we have. And in the past, I've been maybe a little more critical on, man, this character only got one page, and it didn't amount to much. But this issue is barreling so fast towards Daniel Warren Johnson's finale, and I think it does it in a really good way.
The whole thing with Ultra Magnus was a highlight for me. There's a lot in here that I liked, but I found the Ultra Magnus part to be the most satisfying part. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff in here, but there's just a nice resolution to that whole arc. And like Delta said, just really snappy. Like, I wasn't expecting the Ultra Magnus stuff to move as fast as it did. And I looking back on it now, I think it was handled perfectly, which is, kind of a far cry from where we were in volume 3, I believe, when he got captured. And it's like, man, this is taking forever. But now it just kind of feels like it moved at the perfect pace. And it's like this nice little piece of this whole clockwork mechanism that is rapidly turning towards issue 24.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what this issue does really well is just going off of the foundation that has been built for the last 21 issues. And I honestly think my favorite thing about this issue is just how many callbacks we get from previous issues. I think it's really well done.
So many callbacks.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I of course I agree with all three of you. This issue really moves. It's giving us, we're starting to get those answers. We're so used to getting no answers and only new questions, but we're starting to get some of those answers, and it's coming together great, and just it's more and more exciting, for the things yet to come. So. And the favorite thing in the issue is, I agree with you, Moon. The Ultra Magnus stuff really, Doc's appearance and his conversation, that's a highlight for me in this issue, and that's saying something because there's a lot to love here for sure. So let's jump into it, and we'll break it down. So In the first 2 pages, we jump right back into the action with a kind of a direct continuation from issue 21, where we see the immediate moments following the attack on Superion, which resulted in the death of Slingshot. Optimus here is in rough shape, stating he can, barely move, but there is this sense of urgency to regroup and get moving as they fully expect a follow-up Decepticon attack. Now, Swizz, you mentioned the callbacks. Yeah, there's so many in this issue, and we get the first one here on page 2. So it's we see the human element return in a big way as Dr. Leo from the doctor from the hospital in Volume 1, all the way back there in the issues, the first 6 issues, along with the ragtag bar patron / townsfolk militia. They track down our Autobot heroes and offer them some assistance. We are finally getting the hints of that familiar larger Autobot human alliance that we're so used to. This group of humans clearly recognizes that there are 2 factions of robots. And there's one good and one evil. That's a lot of the other humans on the planet have not come to that realization. But this group has seen them from the very beginning, and so they realize that there is a big difference between the two factions. So what did you guys think of this opening scene and the continuation of the action that we left off with in issue 21?
I really liked it. I feel like having the callback from Volume 1 just makes us all the better, and I really do just love how it's a direct continuation, like you said, from last issue, and it just feels really rewarding, especially this callback, because at least for me, I feel like them having Dr. Leo and the militia, I wasn't expecting that. So seeing this is just a cool change.
I think seeing the reaction of the aerial bots, we already had kind of seen that in the preview issues, really just speaks a lot. Again, it shows off the immense talent on display, that these characters don't always have to say something, but that you can feel their emotion just from the way they're drawn on the page, the way that Silverbolt and his team are drawn after what happened in the last issue is contrasted really nicely with the humans showing up, which I think all of us thought too when the humans showed up. Oh, this is probably not good, because last time we saw them, it was bad news. And so it's really nice to see that kind of come full circle and have these characters who I honestly had kind of forgotten about. I had not really thought about these humans at all. To see them pop back up really, really warms my heart, because it's telling me, hey, and we've all known this, but it's just a reminder of Daniel Warren Johnson's not going to forget stuff. He knows what he's writing. He knows what he's doing. He's got it in the bag.
That's very true.
There's a lot of stuff that he remembers in this issue, unearths, you might say, but that's for another. That's another page. But
oh dear.
This section, nice one. Yeah, just kind of building off of what you said, Delta. I mean, going back to even like that image of the aerial bots, I thought that was just a really nice, almost kind of like the somber reflection to that heartwarming hug that we got in issue 20.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this section just kind of reinforces how the Autobots can't catch a break, but how no matter how dire things get, there's always something to keep them going. There's always some spark of hope. And that's something that I feel like this book does really well. Something that I love about this book. There's this very clear sense of a line between the heroic Autobots and the evil Decepticons. Like, I firmly believe that that's the sandbox that Johnson is playing in here. This isn't like IDW where it's shades of gray.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of the biggest differentiating things with the Autobots is how they make that human connection and how they form this community and this found family. And I feel like the way that it's handled here, like it's very G1, but it's also, I think, a mature, nuanced, and interesting approach to the whole heroic Autobots and evil Decepticons thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I love this section, and I think that, you know, it's one of those things that probably will play a little bit better in the trade, because you end the previous issue and it's like, oh my God, Slingshot is dead. How is this? You know, this is horrible. And then, you know, you start it off and it's still horrible, but then you flip the page and you kind of get that little reprieve.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the Autobots are perpetual underdogs in this series. And I think that's a smart choice because everyone loves rooting for the underdogs. And also, I like Dr. Leo's little happy face shirt.
Don't worry, be happy.
It's signaling us what to feel.
Yeah, be happy. Happier days are coming.
Yeah.
We hope.
The shirt is a lie.
Don't believe Dr. Leo. Yeah, you guys hit it on the head. I love what they're establishing here with that human Autobot alliance. And one thing that took me not by surprise, because it's something that's been here this whole time, but you know, the leadership qualities of Wheeljack. We haven't talked about that much, but he's like, you know, he's always there in Optimus's ear. You know, he's been kind of driving the action in some places, like, hey, we got to get you checked out. Like, you got to come in, we got to figure out what's going on. You know, and if they would have taken if Optimus would have taken some time to listen to Wheeljack before, naturally there were things going on where there was destruction happening, and Optimus wanted to act, but Wheeljack was definitely onto something. And in here we see, you know, that the bottom panel on page 1, where, you know, you get that heart-wrenching the aerial bot's reaction, and you get Wheeljack there who's saying, like, you know, I get it. I know this is terrible. We're down. Optimus is nearly out, but we must press on. So it's like him kind of stepping up and saying, like, look, guys, we got to go. And I just like that. I like that, you know, he gets his moment to kind of shine, and he takes the point when Dr. Leo and his crew they show up. He's like, he's the one who's out there in front and says, hey, stop, don't shoot. We mean you no harm. So yeah, I just like that we get a little bit of more of that from Wheeljack in this issue.
Yeah, he kind of took the place of Ratchet a little bit in terms of being the voice in Optimus's ear,
Telling him to go to the doctor when he won't.
brush your teeth.
I think we can all relate.
I don't want to go to the doctor.
The Matrix is fine.
Yeah.
It'll figure itself out. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, I'm good. Just dust it off. Let's just keep going. We'll be fine. So, speaking of keeping going, we're gonna switch to the action in the next couple pages, where we head to Cybertron, where Alita is showing Cliffjumper and Shredhead the repaired space bridge portal and back to Earth, and she explains that this is it's only a one-way ticket, and it's only for one bot, and she has already made the decision. And she's informing them that it's going to be Cliff is the one that's going to head back to help out Optimus Prime and Carly, and, you know, it's everything that Cliffjumper wants. So she's like, you know, thinking I'm doing you a favor. So she gives them a moment to say goodbye, because she's saying, hey, Shredhead's staying here. We need them to be here to continue in the fight. And you know, while saying their goodbyes to one another in the form of a nice bro handshake, Cliff flips Shredhead over and sends them through the portal instead of himself. Now this naturally enrages Alita, and she turns full heel here and orders Blue Streak to chain up Cliffjumper, labeling him a traitor. Now there's, you know, this is a 2-page sequence, and there are a lot of choices that happened in this 2-page sequence. So what are we thinking of what Cliffjumper did, and what Alita's reaction was here?
I think Cliffjumper did the right thing. I think
but how did he throw Shredhead? If is Shredhead really that powerful? If a little guy like Cliffjumper can just throw him around like a ragdoll? Immersion
it's all
ruin.
About leverage. He just drops down, kicks him up there, and sends him through. But yeah, Carly taught this guy that he may be little, but he is capable of big things, Moon. So don't
small but mighty
little guy.
True.
Yeah,
That's true. Anyway,
so that's yeah.
Delta, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying I think that he did the right thing, and I love the fact I love Alita's response to this, primarily because in a lot of our discussions and in our own separate channels, we're constantly seeing comments of people who either absolutely despise this Alita, or I just saw a comment on one of my videos that said, you know, they'll never be able to make me hate Alita. I will always love her. And then I look at these pages and I'm like, they're trying really hard. They're doing a good
yeah,
job of making
someone
me
heard that
dislike.
challenge, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And I like it. I like that they're using her character in that way and kind of to be an antagonist in a way. I'm not saying she's evil, but I almost feel like you can kind of see some disdain on the face of Blue Streak too for the whole situation. That he's like, ugh, you know, I have to
yeah,
be a part of this. What I mean, what are his other options really?
yeah, but the nice thing is that when they do things with, they make Alita's character very interesting. You understand her motivations, you understand where she's coming from, and that's important. It's not just
Yes.
immediately discount her as a villain, as the bad guy.
Right.
It's just in this moment she's like, Cliff,
Yeah.
what the hey, dude.
Yeah. And you'd probably do the same thing too, given the situation. And I think they've just done such a wonderful job in making her relatable, but also making her almost a character that you almost kind of fear when she shows up on the page because you're like, uh-oh,
Yeah,
what is
she's
she gonna
unsettling.
do? Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, her head is so big, but yeah.
No, it's true. Like you think about, I mean, Carl, you raised a good point, like the disgust on Blue Streak's face as well, but like just the Cybertron Autobots, like they're they're kind of like the side characters in this story, right? Like the main focus, like our heroes in this are the Earth Autobots, and uh, what's interesting is you've got this whole other group of Autobots that kind of went down this different path, and so her motivations and their frustrations make a ton of sense, and we've already seen her kind of be undermined and discounted in the past with Optimus Prime. And it's kind of like, history is repeating itself a little bit. So like that switch between, because like she, it seemed like there was like genuine kindness like on the previous page. And then there's just this switch. And I feel like that makes a lot of sense because we've kind of seen it already. And like they've been through so much like desperate times. I mean, I will always defend this version of Alita, even though I don't agree with her decisions, and I think that a lot of them are ill-conceived and horrible. But she's just a great character.
I 100% agree, and I don't know, for me, I'm not gonna lie, it's getting a little hard to defend Alita, at least to just the people who just don't like her. Because this just gives them more ammunition for
It's true. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just gives them more ammo, and why she sucks, or why she's bad, whatever. I agree with Delta. Cliff made the right choice. And depending on how you look at it, you could say Cliff made the wrong choice, but I think ultimately it was the right choice because Cliff doesn't want Shredhead to turn into Alita or Blue Streak or any of those other Autobots who just all they know is just pain and defeat, and just that Cliff just doesn't want Shredhead to experience that, at least not yet, because those Autobots in Cybertron, as like we all know, they're very on edge. It's very just despair all around. The whole space bridge one trip. Alita doing this does seem like good intentions, but I'm still just very confused on what the whole plan was originally. I mean, I know we talked about it like last episode. Like her plan just seems so vague, and now it's just like, oh, hey, Cliff, yeah, you can go back. So like the intentions do seem good, but I still question what the plan was originally. So I do think Cliff made the right call. Um, it's crazy that she just literally calls him a traitor. like looking at the page right now, it's still just crazy to see that. Like it's just, oh man, it's not looking good for us Alita defenders. I'm not gonna lie. This might be one of the low moments, but oof, man.
I would like to point out, and this is a theory on my end, that it's possible. I could imagine them taking the story in a direction to say that Alita's maybe not as interested really in getting Optimus back anymore now that, well, at the time, she had Shredhead. Perhaps maybe she was just trying to get rid of Cliffjumper, because she doesn't see much use to him. She's like, hey, I got Shredhead. I'm just going to send Cliffjumper back and be like, hey, only one person can go. Close the portal and be like, well, I'm not going to deal with that guy anymore. Perhaps. Maybe not.
Like let's get this guy out of here before he can poison Shredhead with his Optimus
with his
Prime ideals.
Yeah, with his hope and love and copium and
all this peace and junk.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I think it would be. I would not put it past them to have something like that. But I am interested to see what this idea of, hey, Alita wants Optimus back on Cybertron. I'm thinking, what possible use could you have for him? He doesn't want to come back.
Now, forgive me, I haven't read some of the earlier issues, like when I guess when Cliffjumper arrived on Cybertron. What was that initial conversation that Alita had with him? Was she trying? Did she say she wanted to get Optimus back on Cybertron, or had she given up on him at that point? I honestly don't remember what. Like, just from what I remember, I just got the vibe that she was a bit rudderless. Like she didn't really know what was going on, and that's why I think she was like kind of not eager, just like so willing to go along with this little red guy's mission to go find the burial site of where the canister was. So I mean, and I feel like her as far as like what her plan was, I'm under the assumption or the belief that she didn't really have a plan until she saw Shredhead. And as soon as she saw Shredhead in action, she's like, that's the answer. We can, let's get Cliff out of here and let's keep Shredhead here because that's gonna turn the tide. And I think she was maybe a little bit wishful thinking, in thinking like, oh, if I offer this to Cliffjumper, we all win. And when he did what he did, she's like, I can't believe, I went along with you. I did what you wanted me to do, and now this is how you repay me, and not cool. And I do have to call out the lettering, like the word when that awesome panel of her when she's like, "What have you done?" I love the little like yellow jagged box that's behind the main word bubble. It just gives that extra sharp edge to what she's saying, and it's surrounded by flames. It's just that's an absolutely underrated, beautiful panel of this entire issue.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly, but I'm fairly confident that there was at least some mention by Alita or by someone on Alita's team about getting Optimus back. Swizz, I don't know
it was last issue. It was Blue Streak.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. He was the one who. Okay, so then Alita never. Yeah.
What's funny is that, like, I mean, if there's another reference, I don't remember. Maybe Swizz does, but earlier on, it's funny. Before, like, when they're going for the sparks, I remember the energy was very much like, "Why do you want to do this, Cliffjumper? So you can get back to Earth and leave us?" And it's just like, almost like, where do you think you're going? And then here it's just like, see ya, get out of here.
Yeah,
you can go now.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, and Moon, you bring up a great point because with it being Blue Streak, what did she tell Blue Streak? What was the motivations that she told to them, like why they are rebuilding the portal? Like, did they say, hey, this is our plan to go get Optimus? Did she share her plan to keep Shredhead? Like, what is that
Very
an opening
vague.
for? Yeah, I mean, maybe that's where this is going, and it's like, the fall of Alita's leadership or grasp on this group might be coming, and it might be coming just from this action alone. So, well, we shall see, I guess, because So the next scene change, we head back to Earth, where Optimus and crew arrive at a familiar location. It's the hospital from Volume One, where much of the action took place. And Dr. Leo has set up some large tents to provide the Autobots some cover while they assess their wounds and attempt to heal up. He says he's not sure what he can do to help, but at least he can provide them with some cover. He also informs them that the Coast Guard has made a discovery out in the ocean, and he shows them the dead body of Ratchet as returned here. So now this is a very impactful moment because it Optimus already in a very very low point. Seeing Ratchet, it just calls back his his failures as a friend, his failures as a leader, and seeing his dead friend, he just sinks lower into despair. And Optimus in this moment seizes up and falls to the ground as the matrix of leadership is forcibly ejected out of him and out onto the ground. Now, in seeing the matrix there, Dr. Leo has some questions, and Wheeljack shares his findings with the group and tells them that the connection between Optimus and the matrix has been blocked by the infection caused by Megatron's arm, and that Optimus will soon die from said corruption. Spike, taking a cue from his father, makes the quick decision to also enter the matrix in hopes of also being able to help Optimus in a similar way. The weakened Optimus Prime won't allow the sacrifice to happen. He's not going to let Spike do what Sparky did for him, and so Spike has one hand already in the matrix. He's kind of saying goodbye to everybody. Optimus uses what energy he has left to lunge forward and grab a hold of Spike, and in that moment, there's a connection that is made, kind of like Spike in the middle of the Matrix and Optimus, and they form this bond, and they both kind of seize up, and their eyes turn blue, and something is happening, and we see the result of what is happening in the form of this beautiful splash page of Optimus Prime within the Hall of Primes. So, guys, what do we think is happening here?
Ratchet's coming back. I'm saying it.
Confirmed.
Ratchet's coming back. Again, Daniel Warren Johnson, he's not gonna leave these things left behind. I also want to mention that Wheeljack has absolutely no bedside manner at all. They're like, is he gonna die? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I read that, I was like, my goodness, maybe like, I know times are tough, man, but maybe cool it a little bit. But I do love the bottom of that page where Spike has his hand in the Matrix, and he's got his hand reaching out towards Optimus, and he says that I can do this. And he says, let me make you proud. I think it's just such a great callback to his dad, walking into the Matrix, but also just the artwork that Corona has done here on just everything here on Spike's face. He looks so at ease, despite the fact that he's doing something he's never done before. And his hand has just got, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just this image of Spike with one arm in the Matrix and the other reaching out. It just brings me so much comfort. Like, he's really looking at Optimus and being like, hey, I can do this. This is what I'm meant to do. Let me make you proud. Let me save you. It's just such a good. I wish we could have it in an even bigger format, almost like it was a full single page spread. Would have just been awesome. But it's just, there's so much emotion even to just that one drawing for me.
Yeah, in the series where Spike has had, he's been lost in so much of it, but in that single panel, you're like, he like you said, he's at peace. He's at peace with this decision. He's finally he's like, this is my purpose. I found it. Yeah. This is what I'm going to do, and it legit feels like a goodbye. So the Moon, Swizz, you guys have thoughts on this too?
I love this whole sequence, and I just really love the panel of Prime's like Matrix just jumping out. Like, I just think that's like probably one of the best looking panels. But oh man, I really, really hope Spike doesn't go. Because I really like Spike. I think this is like one of the first few like Transformer stories where I like the humans, because most times like the humans aren't good. So I really like Spike, but I completely agree. Like Spike looks completely at peace, wanting to do this, but I don't know what's gonna happen, because we see Prime and Spike just kind of like, what would you say is like the wording for this? Because I know like they kind of show more at the end, so I don't want to like spoil or jump ahead. But like, what would you guys say like this, like, I don't know, him and Optimus are like frozen or like in a coma of sorts? Like, how would you guys describe like this? How, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like they've formed one. It's like they're like one being almost. It's just like
Oh, okay.
in that it's like completing a circuit. And that's what it feels like. It's just like
Yeah.
and then they're just connected,
Yeah.
and then they're like they seize up and they're just locked into like I think they just describe it as like a stasis later on is what they say. But like yeah,
circuit idea is exactly what I was about to say. Is that it's these two forms of energy, of life energy, that are connected.
I really love it because I talked about it in my video. It really reminds me of the G1 cartoon of like the third season when we see Rodimus Prime go into the Matrix, and that's literally the vibes I get here with Optimus seeing the Hall of Primes. So I hope next issue we see more of that, but I really do despair. That's all I can describe the Autobots for this issue, and just this whole just despair. It's just, oh man.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things in this section that I really enjoyed. Obviously, the big one is Spike attempting to sacrifice himself, which, as you said, Delta, is a callback to when Sparky walked into the Matrix, but also the imagery, but also even the line is, there's a similarity there, because Spike says, "Let me make you proud." And Sparky, when he walked into the Matrix, his last words were, "Tell my son I'm proud of him." So I just thought that was kind of an interesting little link back to issue 6. And then, like there's some little things. Like I love the line towards the start of this segment where Wheeljack is like, "Looks like your endless kindness finally paid off. We're getting a ride." I don't know what it is about that, but that line just gets a chuckle out of me every time I see it. I also like that the effects of Megatron's arm are lingering. That he's Megatron himself just is like, in all ways, he's just like corrosion and poison, like personified. I think that is really fitting for this version of the character. And then, obviously the whole thing with the Hall of the Primes. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this in more detail, but just the way that the page looks is just so phenomenal. Like Corona really outdid himself in terms of just setting the scene for this. And then you add on top of it all these colors. Like, man, this is just a beautiful image. But yeah, I think that's about everything. Oh yeah, the one more thing, the when Optimus is trying to pass on the Matrix, Jazz is like, "No, Prime, we can't go through this again." Speaking for all of the traumatized children sitting in the theaters in 1986.
Yeah,
I'm glad he said that. I was like, we already did this. No,
we don't need to do this again.
I love how he's like the voice of the reader there, and it's like, "Nah, come on, again." Yeah, that's great. So should we talk more about the Hall of Primes page then?
It's not that
I
important.
personally, it can't be. It's like a throwaway page. one of the things right off the bat that I love about it, of course, there's the coloring of Optimus Prime, the more like Marvel Comics look of the character with the yellow eyes. I know the yellow eyes got like a lot of people like really excited to see Optimus
They did.
with those yellow eyes. So, but the immediately like your eye is kind of driven down to see what else is going on, and the scale of this, the Hall of Primes is epic. You've got Optimus Prime, who's been shown, be like the largest of the Autobots that we've really seen in the series. And there's a one page where like Ultra Magnus looks like was that double page spread back in issue 11, where he's like, oh, he's a beast. But yeah, look, we're used to seeing Optimus Prime so huge, and then in this page, he's so incredibly small compared to the rest of the primes in here. So I need to out myself as I'm not sure. I'm not as kind of steeped in the lore of Transformers, but I've watched the cartoon, read some of the comics, not many. So like the whole idea of the Hall of Primes, outside of what we found out from Optimus, like so it was issue 20, a couple of issues ago, where Spike and Optimus are talking to each other, where Spike was asking Optimus about his dad. That's where Optimus introduces the idea. He tells Spike about the Hall of Primes as the resting place for some of the past leaders. Now, are these? I mean, forgive me, but are there? Do we know who these characters are? Are these like designs that are based on other things? Are they new for this series? Like, do we have any clues as to what they might be or who they might be? Or
we all just look at Delta here.
Wow. Wow. Throw me under the bus. Yeah. The 13 primes in general are not, I wouldn't say they're necessarily a new invention. They're more recent within the large scope of Transformers history. There's always been, even ever since Generation 1, this kind of idea that there were primes before Optimus, and there were even some ancient ones. Transformers Prime in the aligned continuity was, people always look to it as the first to do this. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate, but it was the first to kind of mainstream the idea of there being 13 primes who are, kind of almost have a godlike status. All Transformers came from the 13 sort of idea. And so the designs here on the page, a lot of people have been saying, oh, these are one-to-one the designs from Transformers Prime from the aligned continuity. And two things being, one, I don't think they're one-to-one recreations of that. And two, every single iteration of the primes in different continuities are heavily inspired by those designs anyways. So, a lot of people are saying, oh, they're bringing in the aligned continuity. I think that's just kind of the normal way they look these days. And so these are being pulled, I think, from the general idea that the aligned continuity had. Aligned did it, and then you had IDW, took over its idea. Transformers 1, the movie, had a lot of ideas from that as well that it kind of borrowed. So at least from the artwork here, it seems like they're really heavily borrowing from those ideas originally created for the aligned continuity.
that's cool. I mean, I like how they're doing that. Then I mean, because they've been shown to do that throughout the series. It's kind of plucking different things from different versions of the franchise, the property that we've seen over the course of 40 years. So I like they kind of incorporate multiple aspects of different designs into it. Pretty cool.
As Transformers should always do.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's there's I would imagine there's also some some artistic leeway that or artistic I don't know what's what I'm looking for, but like let Jorge kind of cook a little bit with
Yes.
some of the designs a little bit. So
Yeah, I will agree with a lot of people. These designs do look incredibly close to what we have seen from Align, and so it is really nice for the people who are huge fans of that continuity in general to see this and be like, "Whoa, I finally get to see these designs, in a new light." Especially, perfect timing with the toy line right now, so you can buy them.
Oh, you
They
can.
should have little barcodes next to each prime you can just scan. not their name. It doesn't tell you who they are. It
Their
immediately
UPC
charges your
code.
credit card.
Yeah.
Cross sale at the end of the comic with a whole catalog.
Are you telling me there's more synergy going on here? That's just smart. So, yeah. Any? Should we theorize what we might see next issue, or should we just kind of? I mean, do we think like
Prime's gonna have an intervention by the Primes?
Do they-
Like,
'cause-
dude,
'cause-
you gotta lock in. That's what they're gonna do.
Because I forget, like, because in the conversation from issue 20, wasn't he saying that they kind of like they don't really speak to him, but they like speak through them, or somehow I forget exactly what the words that Optimus told Spike were, but it's like not like it's they can talk directly to them, but they can like show
he
them
said
some,
it's
like,
not
vision.
I think he said that it's not necessarily a form of communication for those who have passed to communicate back. Might be getting this completely wrong, but it's more a kind of almost a conscious of the many bearers of the Matrix and the primes in general.
Yeah, it's a shared wisdom.
Yes, yeah. Which it looks similar here, and this is the only page of this we really get, but it almost looks like these are kind of even just statues. They could be, the characters themselves, but it seems more like there'll be a shared knowledge or wisdom that comes from this place rather than Optimus speaking with them as if they're still alive.
Yeah, I think we'll see Sparky next issue.
I hope
Just hanging about, like, oh, hey, Prime. No, I'm just chilling with Prime. Showing me a Star Saber. Oh yeah, what's up?
He comes back out of the Matrix with the Star Saber.
Oh,
Honestly, I would be. That would be sick.
That's like ultimate fan service. But I'm all for it, dude.
Yeah, I kind of hope they don't do that because it's too much. But at the same time, if I saw it, I'd be screaming. I'd be hooting and hollering.
Oh my.
Cool. Yeah, well, it's a great way. I mean, I whatever is happening here, I love it. I love that we're kind of getting some answers to, maybe we'll see a vision of like what the corruption within the Matrix looks like, or what the like the blockage is, because we're talking about the connection between the Matrix and Optimus was severed. So now maybe with Spike there as a conduit, are we gonna see that blockage freed? Like, I don't know. Who knows what's fully happening here, but like, man, this page has me excited to see whatever those answers are. So yeah, I guess to be continued on that one. So all right, so moving on from the action, we catch up with Megatron and Soundwave, who are in the process of tracking the Autobots, and they find some some evidence of Optimus Prime's footprints, handprints. And but they Soundwave says they're not recent. They're from some time ago, and it's revealed that they are at the location, the infamous location. Another callback that this issue is like all about callbacks. It's the location of where Optimus Prime buried the deer from issue 2, and they are at that same spot. And what Megatron does, man. He unearths the deer, and like it's, I mean, when I don't even know how to fully like talk about this moment, because I did not, of all the things that I did not expect to happen, I did not have this on my bingo card that Megatron was gonna dig up the dead deer and have and use that as a way to explain why he can't stand Optimus Prime. So in seeing the deer, he states that Optimus clearly values the life of this small creature, and how it enrages Megatron. He uses that as proof to say that Optimus can't make the hard choices, that his priorities lie in these pathetic creatures that can't help the future of the planet. So why waste time on them? And in a very telling parallel, Megatron, you see him cradling the deer, and then to the callback to Optimus cradling the deer, but the outcome incredibly different. Megatron quickly just crushes the deer, and casts it aside, and he says that while he can see that this planet is beautiful and there's beauty in it, sacrifices must be made to bring about the glory of Cybertron once more. He tells Soundwave that of the trials that we saw in issue 19, and he says that he was bestowed, that he was deemed worthy of a great gift, and that he's going to use that gift to right the wrongs and the foolish, misguided hope of the Autobots, and more specifically of Optimus Prime. Now, in a surprise move, Megatron orders Soundwave to call off the search. He wants Optimus to learn one final lesson, and it's a simple one. And in like an almost instant classic line, he says, "All hope leads to ruin," and that's the lesson he wants to
So
teach
good.
Optimus. Yeah, right. So let's talk about this whole sequence. What were your guys' thoughts when you saw that deer? When you had the realization, like, oh man, we're
They
here.
killed the deer twice somehow.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
I do have to say, I hesitate to use this term, but it's almost like Johnson is doubling down on this scene that happened in issue 2, because it was kind of a controversial scene. You know, not everybody was on board with it. I mean, even Hasbro wasn't on board with it. Like, he had to argue with them to have them keep it in the comic. So I'm glad that it makes sense to me that he would revisit this and double down on it, because I feel like that scene was so pivotal to defining this version of Optimus Prime. And I feel like it's just that's where we really see what Johnson's vision for the character is. And here, that's literally what drives Megatron into such a fury, is that it's such an Optimus Prime thing to do, is to bury this dead animal. And so it's just an interesting, he's continuing this contrast where Megatron is just the polar opposite of Optimus in just about every way. And so, yeah, I mean, as grisly as this was, I loved it. I thought it was a great callback to what I think was one of the most defining moments of the series.
I love your point on that too, because it's I say it's funny, not in a comical way, but it's just so telling that, you know, Megatron's already mad that they're in this situation. He already hates Optimus Prime. And he sees this deer has been buried, and he's like, this is why we lost Cybertron, because Optimus is not willing to make these sacrifices. And the fact that, like you said, that Optimus buried it makes Megatron even more angry. He's just that much of a hater. You know, it's not just the fact that Optimus cares and is not willing to make sacrifice according to him. It's the fact that he also buried a deer. That Megatron is just it seems almost like such a petty thing to be angry at, but it just infuriates him. And you're right. It just shows the literal opposites between the two of them. That Optimus would take the time to do something like that, and for Megatron, it's almost insulting to him, which I absolutely love. Which also makes the fact that, and somebody else brought this to my attention, that, you know, Soundwave's just standing back there, you know, after having been doing, you know, cradling Ravage this whole series, he's standing back there twiddling his thumbs like, yeah, boss, you are 100% correct. He's looking back into the left and right like, I think Swizz can talk more on that. You might have brought it to my attention.
I found that very hypocritical. Soundwave, like, that was such a huge plot point for Soundwave in this story. And it really is just like one of those ones like, oh, right. Yeah, you're totally right, sir. You know, I don't want to contradict him. Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said, because this is such a important thing for the story, but also for the reader, because I've seen some people and not to call them out at all, but I think they're just used to other stories where Megatron isn't as harsh. I guess I don't know if that's the best word to describe it. This is just showing that Megatron, he's not a good guy. Like he's not a good guy. But what makes him so interesting is you guys are completely right. He's the opposite of Optimus, but he still like tips his hat to how he likes Earth. Like he literally calls Earth. He says that its beauty reminds me of how Cybertron used to be. Like it's so fascinating. I love this Megatron, and it's showing how just evil and irredeemable he is. And every time I see this guy in the story, I always wonder. I'm like, okay, what's he gonna do now? Because I feel like ever since he's been introduced in the finale of Volume 3, it's just been like, wow. Like everything he does after is just better and better. And him petting this corpse of a deer and then just squishing it, like you literally see on the panel, squish. Like he squeezes it and then chucks it, and probably drops one of my favorite. Yeah, no, my favorite line in this story when it comes to Megatron: "All hope leads to ruin." It's so freaking good. I love this. I think 'cause I love the Magnus part. I know we're getting to that part soon, but I think this actually might be my favorite part. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Just no need to lie. That's like
Yeah.
this moment's awesome. Yeah, it's not a moment I thought I just I didn't. We've got there were hints of Spike remembering the deer, and there were callbacks already to the deer. So I kind of thought that we might have been done with. I thought maybe the deer kind of served its purpose, in the story. That Spike had that vision of like, oh yeah, the deer, and that was his rallying cry to go back and help them at the end of Volume 2. But then to bring it back again and have it be through experience what Optimus did through Megatron's eyes. Oh man, I love that they like I think Moon, you said they doubled down. Like I love that they did that. I love seeing Megatron talk about Optimus here and use the deer as the reasons to why he just can't stand Optimus Prime. So yeah, huge key moment, and I love it.
I would like to point out one more thing. I love Jorge Corona's art.
Yeah.
But I cannot see his Megatron as not wearing a diaper. His waist is just so big. And I like how he draws Megatron like super beefy. Almost to like a this is ridiculous extent. He's just massive. But there's just some times where he's standing there. I'm like, this dude is loaded diaper. Somebody needs to change this guy.
So it's like Thundercracker.
Thundercracker gets a pass. There's a new diaper.
I don't
king
know. It's I'm gonna have to pull up that image again.
No. I just made a Thundercracker video. You can't ruin my moment.
It's fitting that in an issue full of callbacks, there's also a Teletran Tapes callback in the form of the diaper talk. It's all
Just
about.
Wait till we start bringing about the teeth.
Oh yeah.
So actually, on the next page, there's a nice set of choppers, a couple nice sets of choppers. So we switch the action to the back to the human element, but this time it's the military that we see. They are mounting an assault, and we see a bunch of the pilots. That's why I was talking about a couple of smiling pilots excited to go take it to the Decepticons. They're using I like that, and again another callback. They're using the rallying cry of Frosting, who's the pilot, Frosty. From issue 2 or Starscream. The Duke Starscream encounter. That's the name of the pilot that was killed in that scene. So they're using his name, bringing it up here to rally themselves against the invading robots. And their excitement quickly turns to the reality that they are grossly outmanned as Starscream shows up and just annihilates some of the jets. He's using Megatron to fire on There's aircraft carriers here. There's tanks. There's choppers. There's like the full military might is here, and in this the juxtaposition of the excitement for the troops to kind of go to fight, and then it's just turn the page and it's just sorry guys, this is pointless because they are outgunned here for sure. And we see what, again, I wouldn't argue if somebody described this sequence as their favorite thing in the issue, because we get the continued sibling rivalry of the combiners, Bruticus and Devastator. You see them in a callback. It reminds me of from Lord of the Rings when Legolas and Gimli
are fighting.
They're fighting, and then they
counting.
take out all they're counting how many orcs that they're taking out.
Yes.
So in a dark twist here, it's Bruticus and Devastator counting how many of the squishies that they're eliminating. And they take, so it's not even the fact that they're counting how many they're killing. It's that Bruticus has a realization like, oh, wait a minute, the tanks count as bonus points because he's counting how many like are in the crew of the tank. It's just like, oh my god. Like, it's just, it's terrible, but like it's humorous, and it's just like, how dare you make me laugh at this, Danny Warren Johnson? But it's Jorge Corona's fault, because you see the panel of Bruticus, like his hands there, he's like pointing because it's counting is hard for Bruticus. He's like so but I love seeing Devastator chimes in, like I think what let's see, Bruticus' number was 23, and Devastator chimes in was pathetic, I'm at 37. It's just like, again, it's a humorous panel of Bruticus turning going, what? Like, you kidding me? So and then they continue their murderous ways in that scene. And then kind of there's uber violence in this page, and I guess we should probably take a break here before I move on to the next the next page, which is Carly and General Flagg. But I do like the juxtaposition of the intense action and then the quiet of the interrogation scene. But so let's talk about the military attack on the Decepticons, and what are your thoughts on the military's efforts here, guys?
Wait, so is this not the GI Joes?
Yeah. I heard there was some feedback that you received from. Was it in your video that you said it was GI Joe? That was the.
All right, Swizz. All right, Swizz. It's time to pay the piper.
So I'm going to come to Swizz's defense here, and you mentioned that it's GI Joe, not the military. But to be fair, if you are unaware of the inner workings of the military, and specifically GI Joe's role within the military in the Energon universe, you wouldn't know that. You would assume that that's GI Joe, because also we've talked about it before. General Flagg is he's here in the series. He's kind of representing the military. He's also a GI Joe character. So like there's the lines are kind of blurred onto who is and who is not in GI Joe yet. Doc is in the book. He's known to be a GI Joe character. But I think in many ways some of these characters we're seeing them before they might be part of the official Joe team. But yeah, so I think it's understandable to kind of think like that the military here is GI Joe. So I wouldn't feel too bad, Swizz, for making that assumption. So.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel bad at all. Like it's unclear. Like, it was unclear, that team that took Magnus, like it was unclear that it was GI Joe until like that last like close up panel on like the unit patch on that one soldier's shoulder.
Yeah, I thought that was GI Joe. Yeah,
that part is. Like,
that was GI Joe.
Yeah,
but this is not GI Joe.
Oh my god!
So it is. So the people that took Magnus, they are GI Joe, and that's where Doc and Flagg are. But since we're kind of dealing with the military in this issue, I think it's that blurred line, and maybe I wasn't quite as clear about that before. But like that, so it's understandable to think that this attack is also tied to what Flagg is up to. But I think they're very separate things, even though it seems to be that they might be connected. Even in the story, like it flows. This action flows into the interrogation scene with General Flagg into the Ultra Magnus section of the book. So it's very easy to assume that this is all part of the military might, and that's all also GI Joe. So yeah.
Okay. So okay. All right. Okay. So in issue 2, right? I think it was issue 2 of volume 1 when we saw Duke versus Starscream, right?
Yep.
So Duke wasn't GI Joe. He was military.
Correct.
GI Joe, I don't think existed yet, right?
Correct. Yeah. It that was he was with a military friend. 'Cause I think he was like hitching a ride with Frosty. Frosty was like flying him somewhere. So that was when Duke was part of the military. It was before this kind of GI Joe initiative, and that's what those events from issue 2 of Transformers, they led into the Duke miniseries, and the Duke miniseries is essentially the creation of GI Joe. So GI Joe did not exist until those events of the Duke miniseries, and then onward from there. And it's still the official GI Joe team is still pretty small in the Energon universe. So yeah, it's an offshoot.
Well,
sure.
Oh boy, Swizz, wait till you get a load of this. There are 2 teams.
Oh my god!
I mean, some could argue there's 3. I mean, like,
Yeah.
we still don't understand what Flagg's actions are. Who knows what Flagg is up to? Because we've seen, General Hawk. Like, we don't know. Like, we don't know what Hawk, how they're connected.
And we technically have not seen Flagg operating explicitly with GI Joe, aside from being in the base where the guy with the unit patch, like, they kidnapped Magnus. So it's like you assume that he is part of it, but nothing has been made explicit about his involvement.
So that's a lot of time spent telling you, Swizz, that you should not feel bad about any type of confusion, because it's not entirely clear as to who knows what, who's connected. I believe those answers will come in time, but as we stand right now, even those of us that are reading GI Joe and reading it all still don't know who knows what and who.
And I feel like that's really fitting, because GI Joe is like super secret and highly classified, and so it's it's probably like the top brass's like wet dream that nobody knows who they are and how all the teams connect and like all of that stuff.
That's a great point, because we know that Hawk has not told. There's Duke's team, and there's also Night Force who's been introduced, and Duke doesn't know. Like, Hawk has not told Duke that there is another Joe team. So,
which that won't blow up in his face, I'm sure.
He'll be fine with it. He's like, the more the merrier, Hawk. Thanks, man.
You hanging in there, Swizz? You okay?
This is a GI Joe podcast now. Sorry, guys.
Okay,
GI Joe podcast,
I think
and Swizz's head hurts.
my brain hurts, but okay. So that reminds me, though, in the 2024 Energon Universe special, that's when we first found out, right? There was 2 different like GI Joe sides, right?
Yeah,
like I'm remembering that right now. I'm literally remembering that right now. Yeah.
Look at you. See?
Because the one guy's like, no, we can't let Duke find out yet. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah.
I'm learning.
Look at you, man. You got this.
When's the essay due?
Carl, this is all from the comic GI Joe, A Real American Hero, right? Anyways,
that's a whole other layer of confusion.
Anyways,
oh man,
I did have something I wanted to say about the comic that we're here to talk about.
What?
2 things. I too absolutely love. Bruticus has always been my favorite combiner. I love the panel of him counting. His eyes are so huge. It's like he's frantically, truly using all his brain power to count, and he's really struggling. But something I also wanted to mention was we see a lot of people talking, and we've even talked about this, about Starscream kind of being a victim to Megatron's mind control power. We've talked about it. Other people here on YouTube talk about it all the time. It's true, but I want to make sure that people see this and don't forget that while Starscream is technically being controlled by Megatron, he still enjoys killing humans. He still enjoys murdering people and squashing them. And I think
Wait,
that's
are you
really
implying
important.
that Starscream's an evil bastard even without Megatron? What?
Brother, let me tell you.
What?
And I think it's good that we see that, because I like the angle of, hey, Starscream was more of a normal person who was kind of corrupted and turned evil. I'm fine with that story beat, but at the same time, he's still one of the bad guys. I personally don't
that
need
person is
Starscream to
gone.
I don't need Starscream to be redeemed. I'm fine with him enjoying killing humans. And it's funny because this panel of him wielding Megatron is probably the only time that the two of these guys get along and actually
they're in
enjoy
sync.
going to work. Yeah. They're like the coworkers that get along, but outside of work, they just hate each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, this scene is absolutely twisted, just from the get go. Like, you've got this big, like, amped up moment, and then as soon as they drop Frosting's name, like, that's brutal, man. And just Starscream comes in and just destroys him. Yeah, I don't know. It's good stuff.
Love to see humans squashed, is what you're saying.
Whoa. Whose side are you on, Delta?
Who does? Look. I'm going to say this real quick. That way we can get into the next pages, which is more G.I. Joe, more confusion for Swizz. We talk about how this is so awful to see these humans getting squashed, but we all also went and saw the Michael Bay movies and enjoy, tanks being blown up and buildings being crushed. There's thousands of people dying in those movies. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's just the way it's done here, and it's like, when I kind of opened this section, we're talking about the smiling, the military soldier, the pilots who were like, look, we're finally taking to these guys. They're excited about it. And then it's just like,
Nope,
not today, guys.
Massacre.
So like, yeah, I mean, it's just that. We know that when the military is attacked, that there is a loss of life, but it's just the way that this is done here. It's just like, man, again, it's just a gut punch. And I mean, there is a there's just it makes you feel bad for enjoying what is happening here by making it a lighthearted the combiner interaction there too. So I mean, I
don't feel bad.
I'm not like complaining about it at all. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's like, oh man, you stop and think about what's actually happening here. You're like, oh, it's terrible, man. But
I mean, maybe that's why it's in here, is to provide some levity.
Yeah, it has to, because otherwise it's just like incredibly dark. I'm sure they need a reason to show. To further show what what Megatron's plan is, to what he's going to teach Optimus, is like, look, if you value this deer, this small meaningless thing, and you value these humans, like, well, we need to see this sequence happen, because it's Megatron enacting the lesson he's going to teach Optimus. So we need to see this, and I think in doing it and adding that levity of the combiner interaction, I think is a good comic book way to address that.
You wouldn't want the comic to be too edgy, now would you?
Who wants that?
Don't even get me started. You know what, guys? Just go to the next few pages where G.I. Joe shows up.
All right. Wiz, get out the notebook.
Yep.
So we cut to finally we catch up with Carly. She's been mentioned before when Shredhead was learning about her. But here we actually see her. We see her. She's imprisoned by the. Well, I mean, it's implied that she's imprisoned, but she's being interrogated by General Flagg, and he's talking about. He's trying to get information from her, because she is a one who is known to have been around these alien robots since they arrived. And really, the only information that she shares is that there are factions. There are clear good guys, clear bad guys, and and she just wants to, and then claims she's like, let me get out of here. Flagg is complaining that she really should offer up more information because that she may have the key to help unlock the to stop the destruction of the planet, to aid in finding some weakness or finding the motives of these giant robots. And I love Carly has a retort here that Flagg is talking about like, where are you going to go? There's Tacoma is a wasteland. Seattle is under attack. What are you going to do here? And you need to help us stop this destruction. And she throws it right back in his face, and she says, "What? Protect it like bombing Orcas Island, General Flagg?" And it's like, yeah, right. So he was in. So I guess that he's it's her throwing it in his face that he's part of this ongoing problem of circle of violence, that he attacked Magnus unprovoked, although somewhat unprovoked. I mean, Magnus did light him up a bit, but he felt threatened. So anyway, it's blurring the lines of who is at fault here and who is the one who can really stop some of this destruction. So Flagg is saying it's Carly. Carly is disagreeing with that. So now, do you have any thoughts on this page in particular? Because then the next few pages are almost a separate sequence of events. So any thoughts on just this one page interaction between Carly and Flagg?
Just good to see Carly again.
Yeah.
I have a quick question, and I want to see if you GI Joe heads can answer it as quickly as possible. Generally speaking, is General Flagg kind of an antagonist?
No.
No. Okay. I just want to know. I just want to know.
Yeah,
No,
I
he would never do anything.
I don't think so. Carl, back me up.
Yeah, I never got that either. He just represented the higher brass.
Gotcha.
But he was never really like, an antagonist. And, we will make it quick. I won't go into it more, but there are questions on if this is truly General Flagg or not. So
Gotcha. I recall you mentioning that to me.
Ninja Force, yeah. Zartan, Orange Mohawk.
No. Stop him. Stop.
Should we tell him about Cold Slither? No.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. No. Erase that from memory.
I just got my G.I. Joe book 1 in the mail. I'm going to read it tonight. I promise.
Nobody believes you, Delta.
And then I'll be caught up. You know what?
So, all
been
right.
burned too many times.
All right, before we call out Delta for lying to us again, we're going to move on. So we catch up the threads of the Ultra Magnus story, and we see Doc witnessing the continued torture of Magnus, and in a somewhat telegraphed action, like we kind of thought this was coming, Doc makes the decision to step in, disobey command, and release the mechanisms that are locking Ultra Magnus in place. So he kind of frees his hands, and then all hell breaks loose on the base as Magnus smashes out, scoops up Doc, finds Carly, and escapes the base. Now, once he kind of puts some distance between them, Doc tells him, "Hey, you gotta, go ahead, put me down. I gotta go back and answer for my actions back there." And there's a conversation that happens between Doc and Magnus that I really, really looking forward to talking about here. It's the Doc says, so Magnus asks him, like, why did you free me? And Doc says, I was where you were once, a captive, tortured. And when Magnus asks how he found the strength to carry on, Doc follows up with, "I have people that need me. They keep me going," and asks if Magnus has anyone like that in his life. And in a really beautiful page, beautiful moment, Magnus stares off into the sunset and says, "You know what? Yeah, I do. I think that's what he said. He says, yes, I do."
And then he drives into the sun.
And he just
the end.
right into the sun. but man, can we like this page? The fact that we get this amazing panel of Magnus kind of like having his back into the fight moment, and this really sweet picture of the panel of his alt mode. Yeah, I mean, I found this to be pretty satisfying. But yeah, what do you guys think of this whole escape sequence?
Amazing. Like I love that our poor city commander finally gets. I'm hoping it's closure. I mean, might not be full closure here, but it's good to know that he seems to be pretty much back. And I love when he stares at the sunset. I brought this up in my video. Like I like to imagine that he just like kind of thinks about all of his like soldiers, Autobots who's he's been there for and they've been for him. And the number one person that came to my mind was RC. So like seeing this scene here just really just makes the whole what was the oh man, I'm a fake fan. What was the term they called with like the teacher and the student?
The Iron
in the
Apprentice.
Iron Apprentice, thank you. Yeah, it really just shows how much of a bond that has with this, because I immediately just think of RC when he stares into the sunset. So it's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, Moon, you want to talk about how you when you talked about this when we opened the episode about how we had critiques that his storyline was moving somewhat slowly before. So what did you think now that it kind of ramped up and it got to the point where it's like his John Wick moment. He's like, yeah, I'm back. So yeah.
There is just so much that they crammed into this section, like just in terms of like what happens. Like he's freed, he's out, he rescues Carly, and then he's like back in the fight. It was very satisfying. I think the thing that I love most about it, though, is how this whole arc with Magnus incorporated Doc, and how we have like this character who, in the face of something huge and scary, like alien robots being on Earth and one of them being right in front of him, you have a character who has a crisis of faith, who takes a leap of faith and frees him and decides, you know what, this is against my moral code, like what I think is right. And because it was good intuition, but it very well could have worked out that Magnus could have broken free and just stepped on him. But yeah, so I just thought it was very satisfying. And yeah, Magnus is back in the fight. I'm ready for what's next here.
Delta, what about you in this sequence?
I pretty much always fall into the camp of not trying to put specific timelines or time periods to this comic, to just let it flow. But I will admit, in my own mind, Magnus looking at the sun reminds me so much of what Optimus did when Spike was talking to him, that in my own twisted fan head, I like to think they're looking at the same moment. Again, timeline be damned. It's just such a wonderful small section of art here that evokes Optimus looking at it as well. And it's kind of this idea of, there is hope. There is a reason to continue going on. And that's really what stuck out to me the most in it.
I also really like all the like the 5 monitors that are just the green screen. It's like
execute. Yes. Yeah. We love some computer gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Why does it need to be on all of the screens?
Yeah, somebody program that.
Yeah. And there's like even more screens that aren't even in that one panel, the close up, that we can only assume also say execute.
Yeah, tax paying dollars went to all those screens and they don't even really use them.
And the screens are the same color as his glasses. Did you catch that? Wow.
Oh.
The layers.
Yeah, one thing I don't like being critical, and this isn't really a knock on the lettering. It's just it's more of like I absolutely love Jorge Corona's art. It's the kind of the half splash page where Magnus is breaking free. Having the was it the Skrionk that written over where it is, it I think it takes away a little bit too much from the art for me. I mean, because there's this like huge. I love like the angle that Jorge chose to convey what's going on here. But I think it gets a little lost in what's happening by having the sound effect there. So I mean, I think it's
Mhm.
necessary to have some because it's a big moment. There's like they're having the sounds are important to see. It's just an art critique. I really would like to see
Yeah.
more of that.
No, I agree. Like there is something. I think it looks like the actual uh, appearance of the letters, like it looks great. But I don't know if it's because it's transparent or like I don't know what it is exactly, but it does get a little lost in the sauce, I think.
Mhm. That was the one page that when I saw, I immediately went, "Oh, sweet." And then I looked at it for a second and I went, "Wait, hold on a second. Let me look at this so I can understand what I'm seeing here." And
and I
looking
think
at it
that's
now, I get it. But I think at first
yeah.
glance, you're like, "Whoa, hold on a second."
That was my same reaction. I was just like, this
Mhm.
is a big moment, and it took me a little bit to like to
To
fully
read,
yeah
to read what was
read what's
going
going
on.
on.
Yeah.
And I think it's in Moon, you saying a fact it being transparent. I think it's a tall order for Rus Wooton because it's like where else do you put that? How do you work
Yeah.
that in? It's hard. I mean, it's just
Do not
there's
cover
so
up
much.
this glorious image.
Right, right. So he's like, all right, well, I can't have it be solid lettering, so I'll make it transparent. But then it's just it's hard. It's there's so much packed on every page, and it's a tough order. So I'm not faulting anyone. It's just you know I love seeing the art, and that's just one thing that it just took me a second to fully like Delta said read what is happening here. So um yeah, I forget. Swizz, did you chime in on this section? Did I totally just talk over you there, or?
No, I thought I did.
Okay,
But
yeah,
I mean, I agree. Like, I had the same reaction as Delta when I saw this part. I thought it was very cool. Then
Mhm.
I had to take a step back. So yeah.
Take a step back and go, "Wait, is this the GI Joes or the
Well,
Army?"
yeah, I had to read, and that's always a challenge for me. So
Yeah, we know.
So all right, so as we kind of are coming to the close of the issue here, we get one final page, and it's we catch up again with what's going on with Optimus and Spike. We see that Spike is still kind of connecting Optimus to the Matrix, and they're locked in place. Wheeljack shares with Dr. Leo kind of what he knows about the Matrix, and that's basically it's like what we know is out the window because when everything changed once Sparky and his organic matter were introduced to the Matrix. So he's kind of saying like I'm at a loss. What's going on here too? And yeah, in the moment they're you kind of you see that they're on the move, and you learn that it's revealed that they are being transported by Dr. Leo and his crew. They're following an evacuation notice from the government, and the notice is to head east to fall back to the Windy City. We are making our final stand in Chicago, baby. So yeah, all roads lead back to Chicago, and the home place of Daniel Warren Johnson. So it seems fitting that that's where the final stand is going to take place. Also has a connection to Transformer lore as well. So yeah, guys, what do you make of this final page and the hint of where we're heading?
why is Spike wearing a mask?
To give him some oxygen, make sure he's still
just in case.
breathing. You never know. Yeah.
Good doctor protocol.
The Matrix fumes are too strong.
The Matrix fumes. I love Wheeljack. His mention of maybe they never understood it well enough in the first place, what he says about the Matrix. I feel like that is a nice, at least for me, it is a nice small nod kind of over to Void Rivals, what Void Rivals is doing with, Cybertronians, and I'm not going to call the Zertonians humans, but more human-like characters.
Or
kind of
organic,
organic characters. Kind of a nod over there. Not like he's looking at the camera and winking and saying, go read Void Rivals. But it's a nice small connection. But I also love the fact that in the top of this page, I think it's horrifying seeing Optimus. It looks like his eyes have been gouged out. I'm sick and tired of seeing dead Optimus Prime. But I do love the fact that he's still holding on to Spike's arm.
Yeah.
Like even in this moment where it's pretty much over for him, he's still holding on to Spike. I just love that.
It's like this image where they're like almost hugging in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the placement of it's like, over the heart, where things are, like, with the anatomy of things. Like, yeah, it's just this very touching moment.
I'm sure it's just a perspective thing, but Wheeljack looks absolutely tiny next to Dr. Leo here.
He does, yeah. He just look kind of funny.
I also just that top panel. You talk about the callback to the '86 movie. Optimus has the darkened eyes there. Naturally, he still has color because he has not passed on. But the fact that we get like the surrounding road that's blurred because they're on, they're traveling on the road, so you still get the kind of like gray colors in there to kind of again just to help remind you of the '86 grayed out Optimus Prime. So it's just I like that it helps make that visual connection of the dead Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like if you flip back to the scene where Optimus collapses, like the color starts to bleed out of him, and it kind of seems like that has been stemmed by whatever like circuit he and Spike have formed with the Matrix, because he doesn't look as faded on that final page.
Yeah, I just flipped back as well. That's a good catch. That's
is that an Optimus Prime only thing? Because like Ratchet still has color.
Oh man, that's a good question. Because I mean,
think about Jetfire. Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Like when these guys died, they didn't lose color. Right?
Think about everybody else in the '86 movie who died. Like they didn't, with the exception of Starscream. But I mean, that was a whole different thing. You know?
Do you think it's here? It's just the they're playing with the darkened area, like under the cover of the tent. Like, do you think they're just playing with that, or do you think it would make sense that it's him kind of being drained of his energy, and then the color?
I don't think so, because if you flip back further, because he's like bright, vivid red, like as,
oh geez, yeah. Sorry,
and he's inside the tent, and so then he collapses, and then he starts to fade.
Yeah, no, I think okay, yeah, then that's definitely. I like that. Yeah, Spike saving the day. That's really cool. I like that. Good catch. See, that's why I love doing this every month, guys.
So fun,
because I would have never thought about that or made that connection. So, all right, well, hey, yeah, that's the great way to close out this issue. We get the the ... to be continued. That is to be continued into issue 23. Now, as we wrap it up here, guys, what are some? Should we move on to final scores and closing thoughts on the issue as a whole? And who wants to be the dreaded top spot to go first?
I'll do it. Yeah, I like this issue a lot. I see some people saying it's the best issue like so far. No, but like it's still really good. I think this gets a solid I think it gets a solid 8, maybe 7.5. The problem is like with these issues, especially like once we're heading towards the end of these volumes, is Warren Johnson just tries his best to just tie everything up. So that way, like the finale is just like the finale. And we'll see more. Hopefully less of that next issue because I feel like this issue does a lot of like tying up loose ends. Because usually in the other volumes, it's always the second to last issue where it's like really fast paced, this, that. So hopefully, the next issue and then finally the finale, it's kind of just a 2-part finale and it's not going to be like crazy fast paced. It's just going to be very cohesive. So yeah, I mean, I love the callbacks. I love the Magnus part. The Megatron part is my favorite part for sure. Yeah, I give it a solid 8.
Man, I feel like if I give it anything over an 8, Swizz is just going to say no. Wrong.
As is his right.
I would also, man, I would. This one is in my mind is stuck between an 8 and a 9. I understand Swizz's points. I understand, this is doing a lot in the time that it has, which is why I like it. I'm very impressed by how much movement we get on almost everybody's story in this issue, given the amount of pages that we get. And so I'm trying to remember if I'm pretty sure I gave issue 20 a 9 out of 10. And so
No, I thought you gave it a 10.
did I give it a 10?
Wasn't that the one where all three of you guys said 10s and I was the only one that said 9? I'm pretty
That's
sure.
right.
I think you're right.
That's
I think you're right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think we did.
Well, then this one's a 9.
Oh, there
And
you
don't
go.
say no. Don't say no. No.
Oh, Swizz has spoken.
Man, all right. I guess it's a 5.
I gave Swizz's memory a 10.
It's a 9 for me as well. And I'm kind of having a hard time putting my finger on what makes this a 9 compared to like 20 a 10. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, the difference between a 9 and a 10 is probably pretty negligible. But I do think that maybe why I'm going with a 9 has something to do with some of the stuff that Swizz has brought to the table. Is that it does feel like there is a lot of stuff that's happening, and I do enjoy that, and I think that is really good. And it's similar to Transformers number 20 as well. I think that 20 just kind of fired on all cylinders in a way that was just a little bit more satisfying than this one. Again, we're talking like not very much at all. So like, this is still an amazing issue. The stuff with Doc, the stuff with Megatron and the deer, all of that stuff is just incredible. And then everything else that's in here is, I would say, also really good. It maybe just doesn't hit as hard as some of the stuff did for me in issue 20. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a 9. I think that is that's pretty good because I really, really enjoyed this, and I don't want to make it sound like it's like, it fell short of a 10. Like I don't feel like it fell short. It just, it feels like it's just a feeling. It just feels like a 9 to me. So
Remember, guys, these scores are good. So anyone eye rolling, remember, an 8 is good, a 9 is great. Like these are all great scores.
Yeah. It's a 9.
Yes.
Yeah. Moon is apologizing for giving this a 9.
That's higher than Bruticus can even count.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with what you guys have said. I mean, I hadn't thought about what I would score this. I was kind of like reserving to think about that until we had our conversation here. And I honestly I didn't formulate my opinion until just listening to you guys talk about it. And I think for me, it's a 9 as well. And for some of the reasons what you guys have said, Moon, to piggyback off what you're saying is some of the moments here that hit the most would not have been as impactful without the setup much of it in issue 20. You know, like the panel of the aerial bots heartbroken, the loss of Slingshot. That is, we feel that because of the hug. You know, because of that happy moment with Optimus Prime. Like those things were set up in issue 20, and then that's what that emotional thread connects them. But it's that setup moment that is a like a higher point, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I agree that 20 is a 10. I agree that this one is a 9. You know, same thing with the Spike moment. Would it have been as believable for Spike to be at peace with this sacrifice without the conversation that we saw him have with Optimus in issue 20? Up until then, they hadn't really had the opportunity to have a heart to heart. So that conversation is so key in what kind of led Spike to the decision to like, you know, I can help, and this is how I can help. So I think that's a justification for rating this one just a little lower. And again, it's a freaking 9. I mean, like, that's amazing. This comic is fantastic. I love you know, every decision that's been made in this comic by the characters are intriguing, whether you agree with them or you don't. They're wonderful to talk about, to think about, and you know, to get that from a monthly comic, like that's amazing. That's what you want from this from a comic book. So yeah, I love, you know, the where we're going. We're finally kind of getting the answers, or you know, we're getting the setup to the answers, which is like, I guess, a common theme in this series. But the like the stuff within the Matrix, you know, we've kind of thinking like, it's Sparky, like it's Megatron, it's all that, and that's coming to a head here. They're explaining what's going on. You know, Wheeljack says, you know, it's the corruption from Megatron. Spike, you know, knows that, you know, following his dad's footsteps. I love the connection that, you know, it's Sparky was saying, make my son proud, and now, you know, Optimus and Sparky are kind of like merged into one character. So Spike has the moment where he's like reaching out and he's basically saying like to Optimus Prime, "I want to make you proud." And it's like he's kind of become the new father figure. So it's just all of this ties all of this 24 issues from Danny Warren Johnson together, and it's not fully tied together yet, but we see, you know, it's like lacing up when you're tying your shoe. It's not fully, you know, tightened, but you're getting there. You're connecting those things, and it's happening. So that's very much what this issue is. So I'm just so incredibly excited for the next 2 issues. We've gotten the hints of some answers, but we still have plenty of questions and more answers to come, and that's amazing. We have been spoiled by, you know, now 22 issues of this amazing comic book. So yeah. One thing I wanted to before we wrap it up here, heading back to the synopsis. I've tried to, maybe you guys have figured this out or not, but
who rose?
Yeah, who's standing and who rose? It's like one will stand, one will rise. Do you guys have any thoughts on that, or is it just kind of like, you know, vague?
The deer rose from its grave.
It's true. So yeah, I mean, any what, you know, yeah, but it's like I mean, I guess it could be like all of them. Like, you know, it's Carly standing up to General Flagg. It's Cliffjumper standing up to Alita. It's, you know, they all make these choices that kind of solidify what their role is in this larger you know, drama at play. So maybe it's you know, intended to be vague. Yeah, Magnus.
Yeah, Magnus, maybe Prime. You know, he's in the Matrix. You know.
No, yeah.
So all right.
Metaphorical.
Confirmed.
I don't know.
It's everyone. So it should be everyone will stand. Everyone
did
will
say
rise.
will rise. Didn't specify if it's this issue. It could be next issue. It could be issue 25, issue 50.
Yeah.
We don't know.
He comes back with a Star Saber and saves the day.
So
wait.
Who do we need to you know, commend on the task at hand of writing the synopsis for these issues? It's like, okay, tease the issue, don't give anything away, and make it kind of vague. go. Like, okay. So
It's hard
but,
because there's sometimes we're just like, say, whatever, and then spoiler, so these
yeah.
descriptions are really hard.
But yeah, it's just it was something I was thinking about when I was reading the synopsis. I was like, yeah, I wonder what that's referring to. Actually, even after reading the issue, I wasn't sure. So, all right, so that does it here for us this month. Now until issue 23, which comes out August 13th. Please check out all of our individual channels to see what we're up to in the meantime. And as always, thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate the continued support and the kind words. Also, please sound off in the comments with your own thoughts on the issue. We'd love to hear them. What do you think the synopsis is referring to? What were your favorite moments from the issue? Because there's so much here, and just from the four of us, we all kind of have our own favorite moments as well. So, gentlemen, thank you again for joining me this month, and always appreciate you guys being here. And really, this is the highlight for me. I love getting the opportunity to sit down with you guys and talk each issue. So thank you for being here. And
Of course.
yeah. So
Thank you for hosting.
My pleasure. Now I'll do it again in 4 months. So
About that.
actually. All right. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon.